online. Audio. Hi, my name is Biridiana, your local real estate agent in Southern California, specializing in the Inland Empire. Welcome to my web series. It is a live series called by Birdie, a play on words. My goal for this webinar is to connect you with other agents out of state for those Californians that are deciding to leave the great state of California. In today's video, I am focusing on the great state of Tennessee. We are going to learn more about what the cost of living is like in Tennessee neighborhoods, what the best areas to buy in Tennessee are, and more. So by the end of this video, I want you to decide whether Tennessee is a good fit and what that vision is going to be like. So let's dive right in. First and foremost, don't forget to like and subscribe for more real estate content. Now I'm going to bring in my special guest for today, Jordan Black. Jordan, thank you. I'm going to add you to the live stream. Let's see. Are we working? There you are. Jordan, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
I know. I love doing lives because you never know what you're going to get.
We love the spontaneity.
Oh my gosh, I think we got it. We got everything together. So Jordan, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, and what time is it right now? I'm always a little confused on the time differences, especially with daylight savings that just passed. What time is it right now in your neck of the woods?
It is 12:01.
Perfect. Okay, not too far off. So Jordan, tell me a little bit more about yourself and what your background is.
Sure, I'd be happy to. So, like you said, my name is Jordan. I am a realtor here in Murfreesboro. I am in real estate full time. I'm born and raised in this city. And if you're not familiar where Murfreesboro is, it is about 30 minutes south of Nashville. And so, obviously, I'm born and raised in the city. So, I went to high school here. Growing up, I had kind of a sporty side to me and an artistic side. I was into soccer, played soccer most of my life, and track in high school. And then I also was into musical theater, choir, and leading worship at church, which I still do. I always make a joke, everyone here in the Nashville area sings. And then once I graduated high school, I got my real estate license and I was a part-time agent while also running sales for our company, our family-owned business. And then I went into real estate full-time and I've been actively buying and selling and helping my clients for about 3 years now in the Murfreesboro area and surrounding areas and in Nashville. And I'm with Weichert Realtors, the Andrews Group in Murfreesboro, and we have a Nashville office as well.
Perfect. And you mentioned to me that you were doing a marathon 10K. What is it you're working on?
Yes. So I ran the half marathon last year in Nashville, and they had a St. Patrick's Day 10K and half marathon. I chose the 10K, but I actually didn't get to run it this past weekend because we had tornado type of weather. So I missed out on it, but it's okay.
Oh, next time. I'll join you next time. You're my inspiration. If you can run a 10K, I can run a mile.
You got this.
You're an inspiration.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. And I just want, for everyone watching at home, I found Jordan on Instagram and I just was like, she is my spirit sister. If you are on Instagram, please check out her page. She is Jordan Black Real Estate. So if you're relocating to the Murfreesboro area, please check out her page. find out a little bit more about her neck of the woods, what everything is like down over there. And I'm going to bring us back. And if you're watching from home, don't forget to comment your location. If you have any questions as we're moving along, please drop them in the comments down below. So coming back, Jordan Black. And Jordan, I want to tell you a little bit more about why I started the show. So
Sure.
I started the show back a little bit after COVID. So I started the show because what happened is a lot of people were, let me circle back. Where we're located, we are the Inland Empire, more specifically Riverside County. We're located right next to LA, Orange County, and San Diego. So what happened during COVID is, prices went down to where 2% interest rates. Prices were insane. And everyone started migrating our way. So honestly, people were selling their little condos for like $900,000 and buying up the houses down here, paying 60, 70,000 over asking without thinking twice. So it was insane. So what happened for all of us that were born and raised here in Inland Empire is we were priced out. We started moving out of state, and that's just one thing that I noticed is so many people jumping out of California immediately just being priced out, or because of politics, affordability overall. It's just kind of a mixture of everything. And I just wanted to connect people with good people that live in other areas, that know areas, that are good agents, that aren't just going to view you as a paycheck. So I just want to thank you for just being here and being you. And that's kind of what's going on here in the Inland Empire. That started during COVID. Today, prices haven't changed. They just keep going up and up and up. And I was telling you about the current prices today, and my time. Hold on, my lights went out. Live, everyone. Give me a second. Okay. Can you see me?
I can see you.
Okay, where was I? So in today's market, we are seeing Riverside County as average sales price. We're in the mid sixes. Let me pull up the information. Riverside or Orange County average median sales price is at 1.18. Sorry. LA is at 920 and LA is at 920. So as you can imagine, people are still migrating down here in flocks. And a lot of people are just sick and tired of it. They want to move out of state. They want to find places where they can raise their family or retire or buy bigger houses. So I want you to tell me more about your neck of the woods. What is going on in Murfreesboro, like that neighborhood, that area?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So, our average as of last month is 420,000. And, the people that have grown up here, it kind of feels like first time home buying is not really a thing anymore. It's expensive. Everything, real estate in entirety across the country is just a constant trend upward. But
Right.
if you're coming from California, that feels like you're definitely getting more bang for your buck. And so coming in and finding the 420 to even 6, you're getting bigger houses. It feels like a win versus, the people that are accustomed to it in this area.
Right. Exactly. And you mentioned to me that you are close to Nashville. I know a lot of people in this area think Tennessee, they think Nashville. Can you tell me how far you are from there, what the lifestyle difference is like? Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Absolutely. So we're about 30 miles, 35 miles, so about 30, 40 minutes from Nashville. So what I love about living in Murfreesboro is the proximity to Nashville. So you don't have to live directly in the city to have full access to the concerts, the professional sports, the nightlife. But with living in Murfreesboro, you hop on the interstate, you're there in 30 minutes, and then you can come on home. Here in Murfreesboro, you definitely get more of that suburban lifestyle, and we have surrounding cities. So if you want to move to this area, I would definitely talk to you about If you want to live in Nashville, we can look at Nashville. If you want to live in Murfreesboro or surrounding cities, I can educate you on all the different areas. But what I do love about Murfreesboro is it's very diverse here. So, I mean, you have the shopping, you have the coffee shops and the restaurants and the things to do, but you also have like there's kayaking at the Stones River, hiking. There's greenway systems where you can ride your bike, parks. It's very family friendly, for all different walks of life.
And I feel like that's so comparable to my neck of the woods as well, because we live in the middle of the larger three counties. I can drive to the beach and I'll be there in 45 minutes to an hour, depending on traffic, and then come home to my house. And I'm like, I'm enjoying the luxuries of going to the beach, the mountains, going to the desert, and then come back home within an hour. So I really feel like they're comparable in that sense. And let's go ahead and talk about the housing market in general. Like, what does the days on the market look like
Sure.
for
So
things
we're
to be selling out there?
experiencing, definitely a buyer's market right now for sure. I would say days on market range from 45 to 60 days. Um, I'm seeing that the homes are sitting that are not, strategically priced or strategically marketed. I still think, talking to my sellers too, I don't think it's a bad time to
Yeah,
sell. You don't want to ever try to guess the market. It's like trying to guess the stock market. You can't.
for
But
sure.
I think for the people selling right now, you definitely want to hire an agent that is strategic with the way she markets and prices and have a strategic marketing plan. But for my buyers, you definitely have the buying power right now overall.
Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of just a result of coming out of the winter market. I feel
Mhm.
like these past few months, things have been sitting. There haven't been as many offers, but within the past 2 weeks or so, right now that interest rates are flirting with us, they're kind of going up, they're going down. I feel like we've been seeing more and more traction. So I feel like if someone is moving and they're hoping to be there by summer, I think right now would be a good time to start making that move and getting the ball rolling. Would you agree? Do you think you're on the same page as me on that?
I agree. I helped someone move from Southern California here to Murfreesboro. We closed it was either last month or end of the previous. I think it was end of January, kind of early February, somewhere in there. And it was a perfect time because the homes were sitting on market long enough for them to physically fly out here and look at the list of homes that we had prepared. And so as it got closer to time when they were wanting to move, we kind of
Right.
narrowed our list down and they were able to have time to make that decision versus, back in 2021 where people were making offers sight unseen. There were multiple offers, 50 to $80,000 over asking. It was crazy. You definitely have more time now.
It the COVID market gave me PTSD. It was such a different time. I remember submitting like 6 to 7 offers a weekend for buyers, a ridiculous amount over, and just getting flat out denied for people that are buying things sight unseen. So it's definitely day and night, and I think it is just the right market. Like you said, people have time to fly out there, to take a look around, to think on it, to put together a really strong offer. So I want to talk about first time home buyers. So they're coming for Californians. They're looking at California and they're like, you know what? I'm ready, but these prices, they just aren't it. Let's say I get a first time home buyer, they're ready to go. What neighborhoods can you direct them towards that you can start guiding them towards researching? Can you give me a little bit more on that?
Absolutely. So we have lots of different neighborhoods here in Murfreesboro, and it's one of those where I could go into all the specific neighborhoods, but I think that would be more probably a one-on-one thing, kind of going into all the neighborhoods. But there's tons to choose from, and we have kind of the newer construction that they can choose from. That's more that first-time home buyer pricing, the 3 bed, 2 bath, wanting to start a family type of thing. Um, and then if they're first time home buyers and they want more of the higher end coming from California and they get more bang for their buck here, there's options for that too. There's a neighborhood that I love. It's called Shelton Square, and I'm actually going to be featuring that on my social media in the next couple weeks. So be looking out for that. Um, that they have a lot of the custom homes where you can come in and kind of choose your plans as a first time home buyer, or I think they do pre existing plans as well. I'll have to look into that. But then there's also um, we have the first time home buyers, and then people that have bought and sold before. There's lots of options. And then you and I kind of talked about the retirement community because you get a lot of people, right?
Yes, I have so many people that are 55 plus, and what I'm seeing is it's the same thing. If they were able to refinance into lower interest rates, right? And they're like, hey, it's time to retire. I need a 1-story. I have I can't be going up and down the stairs. I need to go to a 55 plus community. But even selling your home and moving out into a 55 plus community, their payments just don't make sense. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
why am I adding an additional $2,000 in mortgage payment if I'm buying less of a home? Like if I'm on a fixed income, it just doesn't make sense. So that's what I'm seeing a lot of, and that's why a lot of seniors in my area, they're just flat out moving out of state. So I feel like a lot of them are either looking to Florida or Nashville, somewhere where they feel at home, where it's super comparable, but the price just needs to make sense.
Sure.
So
And
which do you
what I
have
love
in your
about
neighborhood?
Sorry, I think it broke up a
No,
little
go
bit, so
ahead.
actually, what I was gonna say is I love about Murfreesboro. It's just very diverse. You have your first time home buyer crew, and then you do have we have MTSU here, which is the state college. So you kind of have that college life, that college group, and then you also have you're starting a family group. And neighborhoods that work well with that, with amenities and pools and parks and fun things like that. And then you do have that retirement group where we have the Del Webb community that is 55 and up that's going in here in Murfreesboro. There is a new development. It's called Cherry Blossom Downs, and it's not considered retirement. So really, anyone can live there, but it's all one level, zero entry, even into the shower, and there's just no lip on anything, and it would be perfect for the people that don't want to walk upstairs and things like that. So it's just very diverse here. There's a little bit for everyone.
I love it. I feel like everyone can find something in Tennessee that is comparable, especially coming from Southern California. Now, you mentioned new construction homes. A lot of people here have growing families, and it's the same thing. Hey, my house is not big enough. Payments don't make sense. What am I doing? And everyone looks at the new communities because of the great incentives. What are you seeing as far as incentives in your neck of the woods for move up buyers?
Sure. So a lot of them offer seller concessions that you can use towards rate buy downs or closing costs, or some of them buy their rates in bulk and you come in and the rate is lower. Because I know that's kind of a pain point right now in the market is interest rates. Everyone talks about them. So those are kind of the incentives I'm seeing right now.
Okay, great. And I mean, in this area, Menifee and Lake Elsinore, the two cities that are close to my neck of the woods. They're the second
Hmm.
and third fastest growing cities in Southern California, or at least they were during COVID. And we just keep seeing more and more new construction coming in. And I keep telling everyone, start there, stop by the communities. I mean, they can work with you as far as financing, and we can make it make sense as far as financially. And with that, can you tell me a little bit more about the home buying process? So here in California, you find a house, you have 17, once you put together an offer, you have about 17 days to put together or finish your contingencies. So that's inspection, appraisal, and your loan contingency. And then you do your final walkthrough about 3 days before the end of escrow, and everything's done in about 30 days. Can you walk me through what it looks like on Tennessee?
It is very similar. So Obviously, if you're a cash buyer, you're not having to wait on that appraisal. So it's a shorter process. But if you are using a loan, typically you want your inspection period to be 10 days after going under contract. So we'll get that inspector out there very quickly. And I typically recommend 5 to 7 days for that resolution period, so you can, negotiate with the sellers on what to fix, what came back from the inspection. And then at that point, once you've gotten through those contingencies, you're kind of waiting on that appraisal. And then that's the last thing to negotiate if applicable, right? Sometimes it comes back fine and we're good and we're moving forward. But yeah, typically we're looking at 30 days, and then sometimes with different loan types, 45 days max.
Of course, it sounds super comparable. And I know we were just talking about this. I'm like, it's almost identical to
Yes.
California. So when I get a home buyer or a home seller and they let me know, hey, I'm moving out of state, what I do, sorry, I'm getting over the flu still. What I do, I sit down with them. We have a home seller consultation. I let them know, hey, ballpark, this is what you're looking at to walk away with. And then we get the lender involved. And then I connect them to an agent that I think may match them, that might be the best fit as far as personality, location, and then they have their home buyer consultation. Can you tell me a little bit more about what those home buyer consultations look like to make sure home buyers are getting the right fit when working with somebody out of state?
Sure. So typically I recommend a Zoom so we can be face to face. It's like we're in person, but obviously still honoring the distance. But I typically set up a Zoom with them, and if they have a home to sell with you, I would ask, how long, or when do you sell or when do you close, so we can honor that timeline and make sure we're done as quick as possible on our end. And then I just start asking the questions, why are you moving to Murfreesboro? What's the dream? What's the vision? Talk to me about that. And they just kind of share their heart with me in that way. And then I kind of go into okay, well, what does your dream home look like? Do you want a fence? Do you want a pool? How many bedrooms do you want to, and just let me get into your brain. Let me know, help me to understand exactly what you're envisioning. Some people know exactly what they want, and that's great. Some people don't, and that's great too. And so from that point, I start sending them homes, and then I really encourage feedback. Tell me what you love. Tell me what you hate. It's not going to hurt my feelings. It just helps me really understand what your taste is. And then we narrow down the list, and either they fly out here and we'll take a look, or we can do virtual showings, whatever they want.
Perfect. And it's almost identical to mine when I get people from out of state coming into California. It's rare, but it happens. I'm like, I need you to give me everything. Send me Pinterest, screenshots. Like, I need to see the vision. And so that way I know what I'm looking for. I know what they hate, and I just run with it. And I feel like in the day of social media and the day of electronics and everything, sorry, the word escaped me. It is definitely great to utilize everything that we have in hand, and it helps so much when buying out of state. I do want to go over to the comments really quickly before we go on. Thank you, Brian. He is loving the videos so far. And Chera, great conversation, enjoying all of the information. Guys, if you're watching at home, have any questions or anything you want us to briefly touch on, let us know in the comments down below. And let's talk about cost of living. Obviously, California is a little bit pricier. Do you have anything you can share with us as far as cost of living in Tennessee?
Sure. So, like you said, the Tennessee, it's no secret that the cost of living is less here. I was looking up some statistics yesterday preparing for this video, and the average gas price for regular fuel is $2.60, and premium fuel is $3.50. And I'm curious, what is gas running for y'all right now?
So I wish it was at those prices. I almost want to cry. Right now we're in the mid fours for the basic, and I think premium is like a little bit under 5. Those summer prices haven't hit, but I mean in the summer it's well in the 5s. It is just killer. And for now, I know we were previously talking, and I mentioned how there's a lot of trucks in the area, and I'm like, I can't even imagine.
Oh my
Some
gosh.
people fill up like $200 each fill, and then a lot of agents, we drive so much. I'm like, I don't know. It is what it is. It is just killing us out here as far as gas prices. What about? I know you mentioned there was no state taxes in Nashville, correct?
Correct. No state income tax, which is awesome. The property taxes are lower in comparison. I know y'all's runs about what, 1%?
Yeah, we're about 1%.
Okay.
And then it varies. You have like the newer communities are a little bit higher, but we usually run around 1% on average.
Okay. Yeah, ours is lower. Healthcare is lower. I was surprised that groceries is about the same with the national average. So, but overall, cost of living is significantly lower.
Perfect. And I feel like, of course, that is the number one thing that people are looking at in regards to leaving California. They just want to make sure that their day to day, just everything works, especially with the economy the way it is. That's why so many people are leaving California. Let's talk car registration. This one's always a really fun one. Average registration for trucks. All right, now that we're on the subject of trucks, I've seen my truck realtor friends, their registration runs around 300 ballpark to renew, depending on the weight.
Okay.
And average size sedan is about 150. Every other year, it is a smog check required. What does car registration look like for you?
So I'm not sure about trucks, but for my car, when I renewed back in August, I think it was between 80 and 100. So it's lower.
It is definitely lower. I love that.
Yeah. That seems to be the trend.
And I mean, as I was saying earlier today, I'm like, it is almost perfect. My light is timing out. Give me 1 second.
That's okay.
Lives, you never know what to expect. And I'm like, Tennessee is almost perfect. It is almost there, except for one thing, and that is tornadoes. So we're gonna dive right into seasons. I am a California girl at heart, born and raised, so anything under 70 is just a complete no for me. Yeah, immediately no. What do seasons look like for you out there in your neck of the woods?
So we get all 4 seasons. If you're coming here from California, expect more humidity. We get rain here, so you're gonna get more rain. And just expect diversity in the seasons. So we're coming out of the winter month. We normally in the peak of the winter, peak as in the coldest, I would say. I'm probably a California girl at heart because I do not like being cold. I do not like snow, none of that stuff. I like it to be 70s and above. But it'll be between 20s, 30s. Sometimes it'll drop down into the teens. We'll get some snow here and there. But we get all 4 seasons. The summers are hot, humid. They stay between about 90s, low hundreds, tops. And then we get the beautiful fall colors and the blooms in the spring. So you definitely get all 4 seasons. And I joke that sometimes you get all 4 seasons in a day, which is why we get the tornadoes. We had a tornado touchdown in Christiana this past weekend, which is a small city right outside of Murfreesboro. So we do have our tornado season. It makes you feel better. I've lived here my whole life, and I've never actually seen one with my own eyes, but you do have to take cover here and there.
Yeah, and you mentioned like you might need to hide in a closet or something. Now, here in California, we don't do basements. I've seen maybe one in my entire life living here, and I would not get in. You could not force me to get into a basement. I mean, do you see a lot of homes that have tornado shelters or anything that's already built in? Is that a very common thing to see out there?
Actually, no. I mean, you do see them, but we don't have a lot of basements here either. We should, but we don't. Um, but you can have tornado shelters installed and bolted down into your garages. I do see a lot of those. And then some people do have, like the older homes have spaces where you can open it up and go down into the floor. Like a cellar, I guess. And but really I just get in the closet. I just clear a space with no glass and just get in the closet when they say to take shelter.
Yeah. And I mean, give me an earthquake any day of the week. I will even take a 7. I will not. It's just, I feel like it's very fear based. And like you mentioned, you've lived there your whole life. You've never seen one. So I feel like at the end of the day, it's all mental.
It is. And
Let,
there's been times it's gone through the city, but I'm not think seeing
yeah,
one with your own eyes. I'm in the closet when it happens. So I think seeing it would be terrifying. But I think what you said is just spot on. It's your normal because an earthquake sounds very scary to me because I'm not used to that. So
yeah. And I mean, I always talk about it. Everyone thinks it's silly, but it's a real thing to consider when moving to another state. I had an old coworker. She moved to Texas in the middle of storm season. She had no idea. A realtor never mentioned it. It never came up. She moved all of her belongings out there. The day that she got there, there was no electricity. She didn't have electricity for a week. And she had a newborn. So I always keep that in mind when telling people about the seasons. Keep them in mind. You living there, born and raised, is there a specific season you think people should avoid when moving? Whether it's just the humidity or something? Is there, I guess what I'm asking is, what are the biggest mistakes to avoid when moving cross country? And is it the seasons? Do you think that would have a big effect on their timing to move?
I think since we get all 4 seasons, it really just comes down to what you are willing to put up with and what you're not. If you're not wanting to be sweating like crazy while you're moving, maybe choose the fall or the spring months. Um, but then in our rainy season, you may not want to be moving in the rain either. Um, so I think at that point, just talk to me. What are your non-negotiables? And I'll kind of guide you from there. But it's also unpredictable here a
Yeah.
little bit. So you can do the best you can, but it may switch up on you a little bit. So go with the flow if you can.
Yes. And do you have any relocation advice in general for someone who is moving to another state?
Yes. Um, First off, pick a realtor that knows the area, obviously.
That lives
Um,
there.
That lives here, yes, and knows it inside and out. But I think if I had to choose a number one piece of advice for someone moving here from out of state would be to visit and check out the city at different times of day. See what the traffic looks like at 8 a.m., at noon, at 4, at 6, and to kind of
Yeah.
so you're not surprised. And if you can come here and maybe take a week and look at the surrounding cities, look at the different parts of Murfreesboro, look at Nashville, really figure out where you want to settle down. Because moving across the country is a big deal. And, and I think taking the amount of time to figure out what you like and what you don't like is really important. And I think I can add a lot of value when it comes to choosing where to plant.
Exactly. And my advice aligns right there with you. I mean, take a week, vacation there. If you're going to move there, you want to make sure you like it. During my Colorado episode with Iris, shout out to Iris, go check out the Colorado episode. She mentioned that she had someone move in, and of course, Colorado is higher altitude, and her home buyer could not handle the altitude change.
Hmm.
So throughout that whole first year, she had the migraines, the body issues, and should she have just spent a week out there, she would have realized very quickly, hey, my body's not gonna hang. It's not gonna work. So, I mean, take a week, make sure it is the right fit for you, and meet your realtor in person if that's the case, if you know you're already out there, but that's just me.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Well, with that, I think that's all I have for you. Do you have anything else you want to add?
I don't think so, but I just want to be on. I'm so glad we connected, and I hope to, help clients come to and from California together in the future.
Well, perfect. So if anyone is, actually, let me show your page one more time. See if it's working. There we are. Go ahead and follow Jordan Black on Instagram, on social media. Jordan Black Real Estate if you're relocating to the Murfreesboro area. If you are considering selling in Southern California, hold on, let me figure it out. There we are. If you are considering selling in Southern California or relocating to the Inland Empire, reach out to me today. And don't forget to like and subscribe for my YouTube, and for Jordan, I'm going to have the links down below as well as a relocation guide. And I'm going to add Jordan one more time. Beautiful graphics. Well, sorry, I'm still learning all this. Okay, well, Jordan, thank you so much for joining me. And if anyone has any more comments, add them down in the comments down below. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you so much. I hope to have you in future episodes as well.
Absolutely. Anytime. Thanks, Birdie.
Thanks. Take care.